Oh, don't cry, little girl.
Our bodies require.
Queef of the week.
What is up, all my little roaches? How are you? Welcome. That faded out very much faster than I thought it would, but that's okay. Thank you for that. That is one of my favorites, and it's from an OG episode back in the day, Queef Beats. That is from Josh Learned to Read Real Deep is the name of the gentleman who sent that one in way back when. I'm talking like episode 3, and it's still one of my favorites, so thank you for sending that in. JoshPotterShow@gmail.com is where you can send in anything, whether it be music, whether it be articles, it could be remixes, things of that nature. Whatever it is that you want to contribute to the show, be a roach reporter, send it on in to joshpottershow@gmail.com. I have been out and about, my friend. Of course, last week I discussed I was going to leave here and see Jay Leno. Remember that? I've got a story about all that. That was a wild, wild night. But I want to let you know where I'm going to be in the future. Of course, I'm going to be, come July 29th, right here in Southern California, Brea Improv. And again, that's July 29th, one show only. It's my first time doing a meet and greet again. So if you want to like say what's up, I'm going to be hanging out afterwards for sure. I'm doing fucking meet and greets. Fuck you, Delta variant, I say. Also, I want to let you know about August 2nd. I'm going to be at Helium Comedy Club in St. Louis, Missouri. And you can find tickets for both of those shows up on my Instagram, which is at Josh_Potter, right in the bio. Or you can go to my Twitter at J_Potter. Click in the bio there. The link tree will get you all of my shows. And it also hooks you up with everything about this podcast. My Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Josh_Potter, which is no longer suspended. Major League Baseball has relinquished their punishment. Thank you, Major League Baseball. But yeah, so we're still back on streaming and things like that. But I'd really like you to come out to the live shows. They have been unbelievable. And also, this past weekend, in sort of an emergency pinch hitter situation, I went to Utah with Annie Letterman, and it was so wild to see, because I don't think people, I mean, like, she did post that I was going to be there, but then, you know, how many people really caught that? So some people were, like, surprised to see me, which felt really cool. Like, usually you go to a town as an opener or as a middle, which I have my entire life up until very recently, so I know how this goes. Usually you go and you're anonymous. Nobody knows. They're like, oh, just some guy, and then you hope you, like, win them over. In this case, it was like people kind of knew who I was, which was insane. People were like, whoa. And so I had so much fun in Utah. Thank you if you came out to Annie's shows in Utah there. And I'm going to be with her once again come August 6th through 8th at the Tempe Improv in Arizona. So if you're going to see Annie Letterman, you'll see me there as well. It's going to be so much fun. I have a lot of fun with her on the road. And she's the one who invited me, by the way, to that whole instance with Howie Mandel was there and Jay Leno. I mean, it was crazy. Like, in this whole business, you know, you go do a club, especially like a club like Flappers. No shade to Flappers, but, you know, you just go there. It's kind of a grind set. You know, you're doing your thing, getting through it or whatever. In this instance, it was like, you look on the list and my name comes after Howie Mandel and Jay Leno. I'm like, in what world? It was the first time I like texted my mom about something I was doing in comedy and it was the first time, by the way, that she gave a shit. It was so funny. She's like, make sure you get a picture. And Jay Leno was cool. Like, there was a photographer there and I was able to, you know, I was sitting with Jay Leno in the fucking green room, just chopping it up like I won't let anybody say a disparaging word about Jay Leno ever again. I really won't. I mean, I grew up as a Conan guy, as a Letterman guy through and through. It wasn't that I hated Jay Leno or anything. It wasn't my cup, you know, just the show itself. I was like, again, more Letterman guy, more Conan guy. Those guys influenced my comedy in a lot of ways. But watching him turn the wrenches on new jokes at Flappers for 15 minutes. And I mean, I'm not going to tell you what his jokes were, but I mean, this guy had like school shooting jokes. He had like race jokes. I mean, like edgy shit. You're like, whoa, Jay Leno, getting spicy, dude. I mean, it's all clean, but it was impressive. I was shocked pleasantly. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was something that I go like, wow, Jay Leno, he doesn't have to do this. He could just sell one of his cars and be more rich than all of us alone if he lost all of the money he had. Like, he has more money than the Lord, and he's at Flappers on a Thursday running 15 minutes that he like wrote that week. Unbelievable. I mean, to see somebody hit that high of a mountain financially and still give a shit about stand-up, and to turn the wrenches on it was inspiring to me, who, like, you know, I can't even buy one of the tires for fucking one of his cars, let alone be anywhere near. But I mean, and he chopped it up in the green room like a comic would, you know. Howie Mandel, germaphobe, so I get it. He didn't stick around. In fact, I had to follow him on the first show, and I thought it was actually kind of funny because I was pleased that I could, you know, go up after him as opposed to going before him. I said that when I went on stage. I was like, it's a good thing Howie went, you know, before I went, because, you know, he's a germaphobe and I'm a literal germ. So I'm glad that I didn't have to put him in that position, you know. But man, oh man, I got one of my mustache hairs on the microphone here. What a week it has been. Oh my goodness. Here in LA, we've had a bit of a hiccup. I even regret to talk about this prior to the Nice Boy clock ending, because if I even bring up COVID in this amount of time in the first 10 minutes, YouTube is going to put a watchful eye on me. But don't worry, I'm just going to talk about Cole Beasley spiraling out of control on Twitter. We'll get to that in a little bit when we get to some of the sports news you see. Also, the Milwaukee Bucks winning a championship, and Giannis is giving us a new challenge in the fast food world. A lot of people taking the Giannis challenge. We'll discuss that a little bit later. But first, I wanted to get to some news things. And the biggest news is I watched Space Jam. And Nishan, you are excited about Space Jam, right? I'm not going to ruin anything for you. Don't worry. I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, I'm just, I mean, not like super excited because like I feel like I would have liked it better with Kobe Bryant. But LeBron James, I don't know. Like, he's
dude,
just
that's a
goofy.
great... was Kobe supposed to be the Space Jam 2 man? Were they going to do it with him prior to LeBron? Or you just like Kobe better? Who didn't? That's really the thing here about this movie, and that's really my review of it, is LeBron is unlikable. He's not even, like, his character is unlikable in this movie. Like, Michael Jordan, I was 10 years old. I get this movie's not for me. So I went into it knowing that. I'm like, this is for children. You're not 10 anymore, Josh. You can't compare your experience watching it now to watching the first one with Michael Jordan when you were 10. But Michael Jordan, it was like Michael Jordan, you know what I mean? Like, and he was smiling and everyone loved him. And in this one, there's like Hook vibes. You ever see the movie Hook? The Peter Pan movie with Robin Williams? Remember in the beginning of Hook how Peter Pan, who Robin Williams plays, he's grown up now and he has children. And he's become the grown-up that he dislikes, you know? He's all, like, yelling at his kid. He's like, come on, get your head out of your ass, you know, like, yelling at his kid all the time. That's the vibe of Space Jam 2. So, like, it opens... I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to tell you, like, it opens with LeBron's two children. It's not the real children. It's actors, of course, playing basketball in his palatial estate on their full-court basketball court. And they're getting ready for basketball camp, and, like... You know, one of the kids goes to do a layup and he misses, and he's kind of like laughing about how bad of a layup it was. And then LeBron goes, do it again. Like LeBron would give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he comes out like he's all military about their basketball training, and then he says a bunch of cliche shit like, you got to do great things to be great, or what, you know, dumb shit like that, where he's like telling a kid. So you're kind of like, all right, LeBron, how about you chill out? And then you come to find out that his son really doesn't care for basketball, and he enjoys computers more. He's more of a programmer. He wants to create video games. So he actually created a video game that gets like kind of like Fortnite numbers and downloads and stuff, and it's like one of the most popular downloaded games. And LeBron doesn't care. He's like, you got to get ready for basketball camp. So the way that it goes down, there's no space involved, by the way, unless you're talking cyberspace. This all takes place on the internet this time around, as opposed to intergalactically like before. which kind of, I don't know, I thought they missed an opportunity there. I get what they were trying to do, making it a bit more modern with the internet and whatnot. But, I mean, space is all the rage right now. We're talking UFOs again. We should have brought it back. It should have been space. But Don Cheadle plays a thing that's an algorithm. He's like inside the computer. He basically plays like a modern version of Clippy. Remember Clippy? The little paper clip that pops up and he's like, talks to you? He's like a new age algorithm is what he's called, algae rhythm. It's such a dumb, but anyway, yeah, but Don Cheadle, so he's the bad guy. He's the hook, if you will, in my comparison from before. So Don Cheadle's in the computer and he wants LeBron to like help him accelerate his algorithm. I don't know, a bunch of internet shit that I don't fucking understand. And Don Cheadle, by the way, great actor. He tries his damnedest. He takes this whole movie and he picks it up over his head like he's the strongest man in the world, puts it on his shoulders, and it's like he's climbing Mount Everest with this fucking shit movie on his back the whole time. I mean, it is... Poor guy. I mean, and he couldn't... It's like he got close to the top and then he was like, I can't do it, and he dies. Because, I mean, it is a terrible film, and Don Cheadle could not save it. But, God bless him for trying. And it was just so bizarre. But so Don Cheadle, they all get sucked into the internet or whatever, and the Looney Tunes are in there for some reason. The Looney Tunes are in the internet, maybe because they live in HBO Max now. I don't understand how they got in there. I started getting confused. And basically, Don Cheadle starts telling LeBron's kid, because he sucks him in too, and he kidnaps him, so to speak, kind of like Hook kidnaps Peter Pan's kids. And he goes to him, he's like, hey, you're really good at making video games and stuff. He starts like fluffing his ego. He's like, you can help me make some stuff. So basically the kid creates the faux basketball players, like the bad guy basketball players or whatever. And this is where my Xanax took hold and I started drifting away and losing interest. So I really don't know I didn't watch the basketball game, so I really don't know, but from what I recall, I mean, I'm again piecing bits and pieces together. LeBron didn't do much in the game. He was kind of a shithead in the game. Like, it was the Looney Tunes all were kind of raising up and doing their thing. Wile E. Coyote had like 1 million points, I think. And at the end of the day, basically, LeBron gets his child to, like, I guess, come over to his side. And the child is the one who saves the day. It's not even LeBron. Yeah, it's and again, maybe I blurred out the end because, Daddy had a little thing going on and he just decided to go to sleepy buys. And didn't really feel like watching the end. But but it was very Hook-esque, you understand. And it was, I don't know, there was just something. And again, this is where I wonder if children will enjoy it. Do kids give a fuck about Looney Tunes anymore? Like, maybe this is Warner Brothers' way to bring the Looney Tunes back into a new generation. I feel like they just waited too long, because Looney Tunes were on television. I guess now, every time I bring this up to a parent, they go, well, my kid watches it on HBO Max. And I go, did not know it was on there. I watch Friends on HBO Max. Didn't know Looney Tunes was on there too. But it's also so weird, like in today's, you would think with all the parents like putting their kids in bubbles and stuff, they wouldn't want to watch like an anvil fall on a roadrunner. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just seems like a different type of cartoon by today's standards. It was very slapsticky, lots of almost violence, but I don't give a fuck. But I'm just saying, like, you would think it wouldn't be a popular choice to put on in the living room for some parents. But hey, God bless bring back the Looney Tunes. I don't give a shit. Shout out to Mark Bauza, by the way, who did like all the voices. I mean, he's like the new Mel Blanc. So congratulations to that fucking guy. But yes, why don't we get into some news? And I'm folks, I'm going to keep fucking up on the soundboard for the time being. We're doing adjustments. I'm going to say this flat out. Every week is a new adjustment, and we're just finding our groove as we get into the pocket here, you understand? If this was radio, I would be doing it every day for hours, and I would be able to flush out little hiccups here and there and decide little, like, I want the microphone on this side of the computer. You know what I mean? Like, all that would be figured out pretty immediately. Doing it once a week, it's like, I go, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little slower of a process for us. We're trying our best, Sean's doing a great job, and I'm trying my best is what I should say. I'm going to get better, and we're going to get better shit. Ryan Sickler has informed me we're getting a printer. Thank the Lord. I just was like, I need papers. You know, Screens and I were bad for each other. Give me the papers any day of the week. But let's get into the news. And I almost regret getting into the news first because there's a lot in the sports section that I really want to fucking talk about. We'll see. We'll bounce around maybe. Maybe I'll even leave some topics in the news off. But I did want to talk about Jeff Bezos flying into space. Many women very angry. I don't know what's going on. Women hated this. It was like, they're like, fly in your space penis, you fucking white man. You know, like wild shit. Just really reductive in the achievement of going to space. I get it. He's a rich man. He probably could have used that money to better society in some capacity. I'm on board with that line of thinking. I don't think, you know, I'm a little nervous about the rich guys all trying to go to space and leaving us here. I'm a little kind of, you know, that's a little peculiar, but I don't know. I'm not going to get up Jeff Bezos' ass. I want him to give me some water in 20 years when I have, you know, when he owns it all. So I'm going to like kind of be on his side, but just the triggering. I saw one joke by, God, I wish I could give this woman credit. It was a very funny joke. It said like, oh, congratulations, Jeff Bezos. You achieved something that a monkey who sniffs his own ass did in 1957 or something like that. Funny joke. But to reduce space travel to that, by the way, is, again, that's what makes it a funny joke. But there were serious replies in it that were all like, yas, queen, yas, go, bitch, you're a boss, like stuff like that. It's like this woman made a joke, but these people were like, that's so true. You know what I mean? I'm just like, that's hilarious. And to be like, I know, okay, his rocket looked like a dick. Guess what? So do all the rockets. I mean, Neil Armstrong didn't travel on a giant pussy to space. I mean, that was the same shape. I mean, was it a little pointier? Sure, but all dicks are different shapes and sizes. You know, they look all, some are pointier than others. Some have foreskin, some don't. Jeff Bezos had a bit of a bulbous top there to it, didn't it? And I was like, yeah, it looks like a dick, I guess. But so do all the rockets, in my opinion. When I see a rocket, I'm like, fuck yeah, it reminds me of a dick. You know, or it's like launching off. It's the symbol of America's dick when we went to the moon back in 1969. That was what it was. It was us showing our giant dick to the Russians. You understand? Neil Armstrong, every astronaut in the world traveled on a penis to space. So, you know, I guess did he earn it? He earned the money to go do it. It wasn't like, I mean, because when I revere astronauts, Neil Armstrong, all those guys, the Apollo guys, I mean, shit. They had to be fighter pilots. They had to be basically archaeologists. They had to be mathematicians. They had to be Renaissance men, essentially. You had to do all those. I mean, to fly basically a computer that was less powerful than this one to space and just walk on the moon. I mean, they had to be like monumentally intelligent and physically gifted men. And Jeff Bezos is just some old rich guy who was like, figure it out how I can go do that. And they did. So, I mean, that's an achievement, I think, in some capacity. I mean, in terms of technology, let's give it a little bit of credit. But now he says that he returned it, gave him greater appreciation for the Earth's fragility. I don't understand that logic. I wonder if something happens to you when you go up into space and you see the Earth, if you have that moment. You know how parents say when they have a child, they're like, oh, it changed me or whatever. And I'm always like, I guess, I don't know. I can't imagine. I mean, probably, but I haven't experienced it, so I don't know. And so I wonder if this is the case when you see the Earth from space, if it like fucks you up in some way, you know, or changes your line of thinking. I've had a pet, yeah. I loved my pet. I mean, you know how it changed me? I don't know that I can have another dog ever again. Because like, I mean, it was my childhood dog. You know, I got it when I was like 11, and when I was 22, I was the one holding it when the vet had to like put it down, and I like felt its last breaths and everything like that, and I was destroyed. I was messed up. Then like, you know, a month later, I remember my mother got 2 new dogs, and I was like, fuck these dogs. They suck. These dogs suck. I was like, they're not my dog, you know? So I don't know. I've seen people replace them. I'm like, would you replace your grandma when she dies? Do you go like, let's get a new grandma, huh? Like a month later? No. You don't. Yeah, let's give me grandma's dead, boo-hoo, bury her. Okay, so should we go to the SPCA and get a new grandma? That doesn't happen. So why does it happen with dogs so quickly? I don't understand. There's this, speaking of having babies, this couple last September, we talked about this story on the program, bunch of episodes back. Gender reveal. What in the hell is that?
Holy shit.
What was that?
Holy shit, that was close. Was that a helicopter?
Dude, was that like a plane crashing? Sincerely. Dude, the entire building. Keep this in. There might be a plane crash happening. Something buzzed us overhead, an aircraft.
They had to have heard. You have to hear that.
It shook the entire. It felt like an earthquake. It shook the entire room.
That could have been our last episode.
Dude, I thought something was going to hit the building for a second. So that really gave me like a fucking heart attack just then. Whew. I wasn't even talking about anything bad, so it wasn't a drone strike from Joe Biden. Whew, I need a fucking second there. Oh my God, that was legitimately frightening. Check your Citizen app if a plane crashed in the near area. Oh my God, dude. I've had helicopters fly over my house low. Never did it feel like that. That legitimately felt like an airliner was flying overhead of us. Oh yeah, well, shit. Well, yeah. Anyhow, speaking of kids, huh? Speaking of having babies, we talked about this on the program back in September. Or back, I don't remember when the fuck it was. Yeah, in September? Was it? I don't think I've been doing the show since September, but there was a gender reveal out here in California, and it made all the news because it sparked a massive wildfire, and it killed a firefighter, as a matter of fact, while they were trying to put it out. It was an insane wildfire. Now, think about, like, what if it didn't kill a firefighter? These people should still probably go to, for all of the wildlife that they murdered, you know what I mean? Like, that alone, like, I'm surprised that's not brought up in the charges, but they were charged with manslaughter. So I think gender reveal parties, I'm seeing more and more go awry. Maybe not to this extent where a couple is now in jail and that kid has to, like, grow up in foster care. They're going to probably live with, like, a family member, a relative, but, like, imagine if they became an orphan because they're dumb parents before it was even born. They're like, we need to let the world know what the gender is. I'm surprised gender reveals are even, like, so popular in a time where gender is, like, such a taboo thing to polarize like that, to have like a binary gender, you know what I mean? It's like pink means girl, blue means boy. I'm surprised there's not more like people, like, if you're having a gender reveal party at this point, I can't believe there's not like Antifa outside, like going like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, these people should have their child taken away. Call the fucking Child Protective Agency. You know, I can't believe that they still happen, is my point. I just,
I see like white smoke or black smoke coming out.
It's all just smoke. It's just smoke. It's just gray smoke. It's like whatever it decides. There are people who, and I haven't heard this much lately, but I do know of folks that like don't want to know the gender of their baby, and when it comes out, they find out. But again, are we going to go so through the looking glass where like when the baby comes out, the doctor will just be like, "It's a baby," you know what I mean? Like they don't even decide. They don't even tell you. They're like, when you put down their name and who the father and mother is on the birth certificate, can you also put in the gender, but don't make it too specific because the baby will then have to change it when it can speak. I don't even know if the baby has to speak. Maybe they put the baby in the incubator or wherever they put the baby after it comes out, and they go like, it's like, and it's like, what gender do you want? What do you identify as? It's not, I don't know. They put like 7 genders on the ground and see which one it crawls to. It's just a circle of genders, and it's like whichever one the baby rolls to. Do I have consent to change your diaper? Okay. Another thing, speaking of, there's a lot of pastors in the news. I wanted to bring this up because I think I see so many stories about pastors, whether they be youth pastors or pastors in a general sense. Why are we not more, and for lack of a better word, racist towards pastors? I know it's not a race. I'm just saying, like, why is we need to start stereotyping these guys a little bit harder for being fucking pedophiles and rapists. I mean, they are out of their minds, all these fucking guys. It's always a fucking pastor. To the point where now if I were to meet a pastor, I'm like, that guy's just got to convince me he's not a scumbag. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm saying, like, prejudice, I suppose. Why isn't there more prejudice about the pastors? Why aren't we more racist towards pastors? And just ignorant. I mean, like, of course, it's not every pastor. I got to fucking qualify it with that. But I'm starting to think it's every pastor here, you know? I'm starting to be like my grandpa was towards Japanese people, towards pastors, based off these stories. So a youth pastor was arrested for the third time in a sprawling child pornography and voyeurism case. Newly filed allegations against Calvary Baptist Church youth director David Nims, 38, stem from original investigations. So they were doing an investigation and they were like, oh shit, this guy's done this a lot. He was first taken into custody back on June 6th. There was a hidden camera in one of the church bathrooms. That's nice that the churches are like recognizing their employees are scumbags. So they were like, let's put some cameras up in there and see what's really going on. Because otherwise, you know, I would have thought the eyes of God would be enough. But turns out not really. We need the eyes of the sheriff's department too now at some point. So Nims was booked for a count of video voyeurism by a person. Oh, so what happened? This is what happened. Sorry, I misinterpreted. I thought it was a good thing that there were cameras in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's what I was like, what are you saying?
Well, I just want these fuckers. I want these. That plane fucked me up. Okay, I want these pastors to be like policed. I'm sick of them like fucking kids. You know what I mean? I'm sick of it. So I thought like, oh, the churches are like, well, let's not let them have they don't deserve privacy at this point. But no, what happened was this man, the fucking pastor, put the cameras up so he could jerk off to the fucking. Which would be a thing the church did. They would say, "Oh, we need to police the pastors or the priests or whatever. We need to put cameras up to police them." That's what they would say, and then they would use it to jerk off. So it would end up being evil at the end of the day. It would be an end around evil. We'd think like, "Oh, they're policing them. This is good." They had me for a second. Did you see that? They had me, but no. I've spoken my way out of it. You will not get me. You will not lull me into fucking allowing your nonsense, you fucking pastors. So, yes, he did that. He put the fucking cameras in, and it was discovered, and he's been charged, thank the Lord. None of the child victims appear to have local connections and were not videotaped by Nims himself. These seem to be downloaded from the internet, so there were, the other counts. So it was really only one. And then also he did the cameras. Here's something. Nims finds himself in jail more than a month later, this time for 4 counts of video voyeurism. That was with the cameras. During the execution of the search warrant last month, deputies found an SD card and 4 micro SD cards in one of his pants pockets, according to the arrest report, the Pensacola News-Journal. This included videos of at least 8 people recorded without their knowledge using a church restroom. At least 3 videos showed juveniles in the restroom, and the videos dated back to March. March 12th allegedly showed Nims' face as he put the camera under a restroom sink. What an idiot. God, if you're gonna fucking... He's like looking in the lens like, sick, now I can see all the kids' dicks. That's like, and then he walked away. He just like confessed inside of the camera. Fucking idiot. God, we're gonna get to a pastor in a minute who, not a pedophile, but scumbag nonetheless when it comes to Ben Zobrist and his... Man, that poor fucking guy. But first, how about this one here from a Roach reporter of ours? Man gets flammable deodorant stuck in his rectum. Today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us by Freshly. And the thing that I love about Freshly is not only does it take the grocery shopping off the table as far as an inconvenience goes, it takes the cooking off the table. And, you're probably like, well, Josh, that just sounds like a microwave dinner. I mean, essentially, it is kind of. But get this, it's actually freaking good. I mean, it is like unbelievably good ingredients. They're top tier meals, and it's actually healthy for you too. So, when you eat a microwave dinner, you're like, oh, I just ate some garbage or whatever. Who the hell knows? But Freshly is giving you chef-made, nutrient-packed, delicious meals, and they're delivered right to your house, so you don't even have to go to the grocery store and pick them out. Grocery shopping is for rubes, my friend. Cooking can be a pain in the ass too. So like if you're like me where you get home late at night from doing shows or whatever, I'm sure maybe you're not getting home late at night from doing shows, but you might be just stressed out from your day and you get home and you don't want to lift a finger. Freshly's lifted all the fingers for you. And they have so many meals that you can choose from. I'm telling you, just go on their website and just take a look if you're even speculating or like even kind of like weary about it. I mean, steak peppercorn, for instance, sausage baked penny, and they've got like the chicken pesto bowl, which I actually just ate yesterday, which was unbelievable. And it's all right there for you on their website, freshly.com. And ordering is so freaking easy. Go to freshly.com right now, and they're offering my listeners $40 off their first 2 orders. And that's when you go to freshly.com/Josh. So when you're going to check out the menu, type in freshly.com/Josh, and you can get $40 off your first 2 orders. And stop stressing, dude. Stop stressing about dinner. Go to freshly.com/Josh for $40 off your first 2 orders. Can't say it enough. Freshly.com/Josh for $40 off your first 2 orders. Today's Josh Potter Show is also brought to us by Truff. And Truff is like the top tier hot sauce out there right now. I mean, you might have even seen it on Instagram or on TikTok. I mean, it's all over the place. People are talking about Truff as much as they're talking about like Nike or something. It's crazy. Have you ever gone to a restaurant and looked at the menu, like a fancy restaurant, and everything's truffle butter and truffle this and truffle that? I always know I'm at a fancy place when they start talking truffles. And that's why I was like, when I heard about Truff hot sauce, they're putting truffles in the hot sauce. I was like, oh my God. All right. This is high-end stuff right here. And they've got a couple different versions, and they've got one that's a little more mild. It's got the black truffles in it, and it's the hotter one is my jam, though, because I like my face to kind of melt off my body. That's my favorite thing. When it comes to a hot sauce, I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, I want it to be freaking hot. And so they've combined it with their white truffle. I want to get the ingredients correct for you because what's in here is banana land. The hotter sauce has the heat taken up a notch with extra jalapenos, chili, and habanero. I mean, that's for people who demand the spicier things in life, like your boy over here. You know I like it spicy. But they've also got the white truff, and that hot sauce is infused with rare and decadent white truffle. I mean, oh my God. So scoop some of this up, dude, and I'm going to help you scoop it up right now by giving you a deal. As a matter of fact, 15% off site-wide, plus free shipping with promo code JOSH at truff.com. That's 15% off everything at truff.com. I fucked that up. TRUFF.com/Josh. That's truff.com, promo code JOSH. Don't spell it the way I did the first time. Truff.com/Josh to get 15% off site-wide. Now, I know, folks, we're all out there eating ass. And I know you want it to smell right when a lady goes down there. Who wouldn't? You don't want her to go down there and be like, PU, you know? So people are doing wild shit to fucking make their ass smell better. This man apparently putting flammable deodorant in his rectum. Why so far in, I don't know. But we'll find out. Let's read the story. Doctors in India are warning about a peculiar hazard. Okay, so this takes place in India where I can't believe they're putting deodorant anywhere. No, but hey, that's just... Just from what I read, I don't know. In a new study this week, they detail having to remove a can of aerosol spray deodorant from a patient's rectum. It's an injury made even more potentially dangerous due to the risk of fire or explosion should the offending object be removed using cautery or an energy device. I don't know what that means. Like when they, what's a cautery one where they have like a zappy thing where they have to like break it down and then it comes out? I don't fucking know. I'm not a doctor, clearly. I'm here. I don't know what I'm talking about. Household objects getting stuck inside people's asses is nothing new. This behavior can be they say butts inside the thing. I think asses is more dignified to say than butts. Don't you? It's more adult. Why is this guy writing butts? Why don't you just say bum-bums, you fucking child? Fucking kid child. This behavior can be the result of mental illness, curiosity among people, often kids who just don't know any better, or sexual play gone wrong. That's what I would venture to. I would go to probably sexual play gone wrong as opposed to mental illness. I don't know anybody who's just like, I'm so wacky, and then they're just shoving. According to the authors of this new paper published, they're doing a paper on shit going in people's butts. Finding a deodorant aerosol spray can inside a patient's rectum is especially rare. I would hope so. The discovery was apparently enough to compel them to issue a warning to others about possible risks that could come with this particular kind of rectal object. For one, our bodies contain gases that can ignite with the right spark during surgery. We have all lit a fart on fire, so we know what they're talking about there. This guy's putting extra gas, aerosol. So, napalm. He could have, like that plane that just went overhead, fucking almost took out our building. He could have done that with one fart, this fucking guy, with an aerosol spray in his ass. Aerosol cans can contain a potent mix of pressurized flammable chemicals, adding to the real risk of fire or explosion should the can inadvertently be punctured or deployed during removal. So say he tried to really I gotta shit this out, and he's like, ugh. He could have been like, huh. It was a difficult surgery, needless to say. It's not clear why this can ended up inside the person's body. The 21-year-old patient arrived at the emergency room suffering from abdominal pain and told doctors that the can was inserted in his rectum a day earlier by 2 unknown people. Well, that's not cool. Don't put it on this guy. They're like, maybe he's mentally ill. What if someone held him down and another guy put a fucking aerosol can in his ass? That could have, there's bullies out there, folks. I don't know how they do it in India, but I'd imagine they have bullies as well. He couldn't provide any other details, however. He's like, yeah, the guy was tall. He didn't know, that's his, it starts unraveling with his lack of ability to describe the men. Yeah, one was Indian. So because of the risks involved, the doctors opted to put the man under general anesthesia before attempting to remove the can. That's like dismantling a bomb. They probably had to call a bomb squad in there to get this can out. They're like, red wire, blue wire. How do we, you know what I mean? They had to do it without any incisions, and simple abdominal pressure was enough to get the object out. So without any complications, thank the Lord. Afterward, the man was given psychological evaluation and counseling, and he was reported to be doing well at his last follow-up. Yeah, he's just an Indian guy who wanted to put something in his ass because he wanted to come, I don't know how they do it in India. I don't know if they're cool with gay people. I had a gay Pakistani roommate at one point, and from what he tells me, they're not cool with it in terms of Pakistan. I know Pakistan and India don't get along with one another, but I think they kind of, if they were to get along on one thing, it would be about hating gay people. So I think that's what's going on over there. So I bet he just was trying to come. The poor guy wanted something fat in his ass, and he was like, this aerosol can looks shaped pretty good. I would like this to be a penis, and so...
Yeah, that's the fucking size of, usually size of a Red Bull, right? That.
Yeah, think about some of these dildos I've seen. They are fucking, shit. So this poor guy doesn't have a fucking rubber dick laying around. I'd imagine he can't get on, Adam and Eve on his fucking India internet. And, he wanted to put something in his butt to experience it so he could jerk off. And when he went to the hospital, he can't say that to these doctors because, they'll be like, well, we're not treating you or something. You know what I mean? That's against our religion to treat your ass sex play.
He's like, no, I'm mentally
ill.
I'm
insane.
Yeah.
I'm insane. I like how he tried to offer up to 2 guys did. I didn't get a good look. But 2 dudes put this can in my ass. They put fucking Vaseline on it and shoved it right at how. Good golly. But speaking of assholes, let's get to Cole Beasley here in the sports. Man, I keep doing this toggle, and I keep fucking it up. People love when I fuck up the fucking soundboard, though. They just love it. So there you go. Yeah, Cole Beasley in the news again. He was in the news all during COVID because he was talking about vaccines. That's what he likes to talk about. That's all he seems to like to tweet about. If you are a person who is passionately pro-vaccine or passionately anti-vaccine, stop being such a fucking bore. I hate you. I mean, what a snooze. You're a dork if you're either way. You're having trouble getting in there. But Cole Beasley, he's been tweeting for the last few days about the vaccine, and it was always a thing during this whole vaccination process as the NFL is gearing up to start another season. Will they require the players to get a vaccine? That was the question, and Cole Beasley was very adamant against this, speaking out on Twitter and things. And then recently, just the other day, the NFL has decided that if a team does get an infection and it spreads and makes them unable to play a game, that game will not be rescheduled. It will not float around the week like they did last year where there were games on Tuesdays. There's a game on Wednesday at 3 o'clock. They're not doing that shit. If that happens, if there's an outbreak in your facility and you are unable to play and it is not contained, you will forfeit the game. Therefore, all the players on that team will forfeit their game checks. And so Cole Beasley is up in arms because he's very staunch. He is very anti-vax, and he wants you to know all about it. And so you've pulled up his tweets here, yes? And I don't know if you have the one that like launched it all. I mean, he's just retweeting a doctor. He's been retweeting a doctor for the last 20 minutes now.
Yeah, I could refresh and there's a new one right there.
Yeah, yeah, dude. He's like literally just retweeting this Dr. Malone to validate his stance. Here's my thing, Cole Beasley. Shut the fuck up. Who gives a shit? Like, why are you on this crusade? There are a bunch of Bills players, because I know they've really, and here's what I want, by the way. I need a list of vaccinated players, not because I give a shit if they're vaccinated or not, and I want to like wave my social justice flag in the air and be like, these are the good players and these are the bad ones. I need to know for my fucking fantasy team which ones are vaccinated, because I can't have the unvaccinated ones getting sick and missing, and then I'm like, oh fuck, and then they get suspended or whatever. No, I mean, Cole Beasley, if you're looking at your fantasy thing here, this guy might get fucking cut. Not because he's anti-vax, because he won't shut the fuck up about it. And he's become a distraction. In fact, Mark Cuban has reached out to Cole Beasley and has offered him like money to get vaccinated, which I find all this shit where it's like, if you don't get vaccinated and you hold out and you fucking wait, you get like, now you can win the lottery. You're like, it's like, what the fuck? What about all the rest of us who just did it? You know what I mean? It's so dumb. But my whole thing is, again, do what you want with your fucking body. If you don't want to get vaccinated, don't. I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. I got it because I want to work. And I love my fucking job. I love doing stand-up comedy more than I love everything. More than I love, like, my like, if you were like, your grandma's going to get sick from COVID if you go do stand-up comedy, I'd be like, sorry, grandma. You know what I mean? You know how they're like, save the grandmas? I wouldn't have given a shit if it meant to do stand-up comedy. Do you understand? So if I'm Cole Beasley and I'm doing what I love, which I assume is playing football for him, the vaccination is not an issue for me. I don't even care. You could have said to my face, Josh, the vaccine's going to turn you gay. It's going to give you 6 tails. You're going to fucking start to watch Marvel movies all of a sudden. Like, you know what I mean? You could have listed anything. As long as I got to do stand-up, I wouldn't give a fuck. But I understand that that's just me. But I would think if you were living your dream and doing the thing that you love more than anything in the world, and sacrificed, by the way, a lot to get to the top level of that thing, that this stupid vaccine wouldn't be the sticking point, if you know, for lack of a better word, no pun intended. But I don't understand that in any capacity where the guy last season played on a broken leg that they shot up with all sorts of bullshit that they're putting into him. He's doing fucking painkillers. He's doing fucking, cortisone shots. I don't fucking know what the fuck they're putting in those people, but he can go through that kind of shit. And then when it comes to this, like, couple of shots that are like a flu shot, he's like, no fucking way. I mean, there was a moment he was talking about retiring, and then he was like, no, I'm going to make the Bills cut me. If they have to cut me, they'll cut me. And that part is so wild. They might cut him. I mean, first of all, he's kind of old. I mean, there was like a chance. There was like a remote chance that they might have. Like, some people are like, there's no chance they would have ever cut him. I was thinking during the offseason, I'm like, we've got Emmanuel Sanders, Gabe Davis is coming on. If there's like some cap issues, we might get rid of Cole Beasley anyway. And now he's over here like, I mean, he's calling people, like, he's like, responding to, do you see any choice tweets that you want to, like, there was one where he was like starting to get into China stuff where he's like, stop blaming me and blame the people who made the virus. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I never got that. I mean, like, I'm not, I don't give a fuck if it was in a lab, if it wasn't in a lab. I don't really give a shit where it came from in China. It's like, what are we going to do about it? Borrow more money from them? We're not going to do anything. So it's like silly to have that argument. But yes, so many people are, he's even arguing with Jerry Hughes, a member of his team. Jerry Hughes, some people have underlying health conditions, so they are at risk in it if an outbreak happens. He goes, wait, but Apple is just one company, not all tech companies. I don't even understand where this. I'm not reading these dumb threads. I'm sorry. I thought I could concisely read it for you and decide what's going on here. But no, it's all nonsense. And Cole Beasley is just spiraling. Like you just said, you refreshed and he's got another one up there. He's basically, nothing has changed. I'm still living freely. Good night. That was last night. Then he woke up in the morning and was like, I'm going to tweet 1,000 more things about this. There are other players, by the way, that are on Cole Beasley's side. And he has brought them up in a tweet. Where is that one here? It is Jalen Ramsey, Leonard Fournette. These are some of the others who have spoken out against the vaccine. And DeAndre Hopkins, our boy DeAndre Hopkins, who, of course, as you know, early on in this show, early history, we discussed DeAndre Hopkins with Tom Segura, as I said, having potentially the cleanest asshole in all of the NFL. Has nothing to do with the vaccination and things like that.
Wait.
Yes, we always, Tom and I have for years.
It's not OBJ?
Well, this is where OBJ's up there, but this is where OBJ gets a little spicy in that side. And this is a definite tangent now from the whole thing where OBJ likes to have shit on him. Did you hear that? He likes to get shit on. But I actually don't think that that's true, because I do think, and so he's definitely up there. But DeAndre Hopkins is so fashion forward, even more on a higher level than OBJ. That's why I ranked him higher. Stephon Diggs is up there in the top 5, but yeah, OBJ could very well be. He's either or. He's either got the best one, or it's like super nasty because he's into that kind of thing. He's like a scat guy, That was the rumor. I don't believe it to be true, Odell Beckham Jr. Okay, I'm on your team. I remember what happened when you saw Lena Dunham. You were like, she looks like a beanbag chair, and you didn't even acknowledge her. And you walked by. That's not a person who likes to get shit on, figuratively or literally. But DeAndre Hopkins, and I couldn't see, he was tweeting a bunch himself. I couldn't see his tweets because he has me blocked, as you recall, because back when his dick pic leaked, I tried to say, no, that's my dick, and DeAndre Hopkins blocked me, so I don't get to see what he's saying, unfortunately. But I almost had DeAndre Hopkins on the show. I had inroads to DeAndre Hopkins, and it was for Super Bowl week, and he said no, because he knew he blocked me. And I was going to tell him, I'm going, hey man, sorry about the misunderstanding about your penis. I was trying to take the heat off you. You had a dick pic leaked. I thought I'll step in and take the heat off you and be like, no, that's my dick. Of course, people would believe it, and then they wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. But no, he took umbrage with it. So I wanted to hash that out with him. I talked to his agent. I was trying to get him on the program. He did not want to come on. So if you can out there, maybe tweet to him and try and get me unblocked at the very least. I'd appreciate it. I'd like to see what DeAndre Hopkins has to say, whether it be about the vaccine or football or otherwise. But DeAndre Hopkins has said that he will retire if it's like forced upon him. So again, so wild to me that people who have sacrificed so much to get to such a high level are, having this be the hill they die on. But, and somebody, and probably a leaning toward more racist person, brought up the fact that this is kind of like kneeling for the anthem. And I was like, tough. I get what you're saying, but not really. No one's saying, they said you cannot kneel for the anthem. They did say that. And people chose, one way. Colin Kaepernick did not choose to leave the NFL because of that. He was blackballed from the NFL. Like, he was no longer welcome on any of the teams. So you can't say like somebody was like, oh, I'm not allowed to kneel, and they bailed. Like, I don't think that happened. And eventually, like, the NFL was like, we fucked up in that whole thing, and it was a whole back and forth. But there are people out there that are like, fuck these people for kneeling, who are like, go Cole Beasley. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make it, be consistent. And then the same with the vice versa, by the way. And that's why I don't really give a shit what he does. It's just the fact that now he's talking about it so much that it's become a locker room distraction. Therefore, the same reason that all those GMs out there got away with blackballing Colin Kaepernick, because he was a distraction. Like, every question's going to be about the kneeling and about the cops and everything like that, and I don't want that in my locker room. That was their excuse, and that's their prerogative, or whatever. It's not, whether it's right or wrong. That's what's going to happen to Cole Beasley, and that's all that my point is. Very well, they might not do anything about it, but at the very least, training camp is going to be so obnoxious because everything's going to be vaccinated, anti-vaccinated. Are you vaccinated? Are you? I bet you our sweet boy, little boy angel, Josh Allen, I don't think he's vaccinated, but he's not out there talking about it, so no one cares. No one's bringing it up. But I'm pretty positive that Josh Allen didn't get the vaccine either. Because he's said some things where I'm like, hey, he's not getting it. He's not going to go get it. What's really cool in the baseball world, and again, I mentioned this last week, this is like the time of year, training camp is coming back and things like that. Sports are going to get more exciting. But baseball, this is like the time of year where you turn on Sports Center and it's all baseball. So there's a lot of baseball news. But one thing that was very cool, the Orioles had an entire broadcast during the Orioles versus Rays game, entire broadcast team of women. I mean, it's like play-by-play, color, sideline, the whole on-air crew was female, which was very cool. I thought if they really wanted to like make it so it was more feminist, they would have put like a man on the sideline and just had everyone else be a woman, because it's typically the other way around. It's all dudes, and then the woman is the sideline reporter. So, they did it so, like, could you imagine being the woman who's still the sideline reporter? She's like, fucking Christ, I could have...
I get the fucking leftovers.
I was doing this shit when there were dudes. Now, so I think they should have made a man do it, and they should have put him in something, like, really skimpy and, like, called him a whore or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what you always see that happen. Like, every now and then, like, some fucking dipshit in the booth will make some off comment about something that the sideline reporter is wearing. They should have just did that like hardcore. They've been like looking like a piece of meat down there. You know what I mean? Like really fucking just objectified the guy on the sideline. That would have made it more, I think, perfect, like for me. You know what I mean? But that's very cool, and I'm sure we'll see more of that down the road and in the future, which is very nice. I'm excited for that. Continuing down the road here, there was another big story. Oh, the Zobrist thing. This sad sack dude. And this is so funny. The people, I still, how they say like you could get 1,000 really nice comments and then one asshole comment sticks in your head. And we were talking about this off air, Sean. There's like, one or two people who were like, what's this, a sports podcast? Yeah, it basically is. And I'm sorry if you don't like it. I'm really like, out of all the stories we had today, which one was I really talking about? Sports. It's sports adjacent, I would say. And in this case, this is about a messy divorce that fucked a man's head up so bad that it ruined his like profession, essentially. And that's something that we can see happen to the guy who works at fucking Papa John's, to the guy who works at fucking Goldman Sachs. This shit is a tale as old as time. It just so has happened to the fucking 2015 fucking World Series MVP Ben Zobrist. That's all. So his wife her name is Juliana. She's a real see you next Tuesday. I mean, holy hell, this lady. They're in a big fucking battle right now because you see they're estranged and everything like that. They're going through a big legal battle, and Juliana is blaming Mr. Zobrist, Ben, former Chicago Cubs utility man, guilty of failing to preserve marital assets. What does that sound like? Yeah. Cash. That's because he took a leave of absence from the team back in May 2019. Why do you think he took that leave of absence? Was it because he just didn't feel like playing anymore? No. It was because his fucking wife was getting dicked down by a pastor, of all people. Dicked down.
Are they all scum?
I'm starting to think I'm going to start sounding like my grandpa. Fucking pastors. Fucking pedophile pastors. You know what I mean? I don't know. So this in 2019, it was a big deal. He took a leave of absence. People didn't know why at first. They were like, "What's going on?" Pitchers tend to be a little bit of mental cases on occasion. They could be a bit of a basket case. Some of them, it leads to very eccentric personalities, which is fun. Kind of like goalies in hockey. They're all kind of weird, right? So no one really knew what was going on at the time, but now because he took that leave of absence, it's become a part of their divorce trial, and so she's claiming that a judge should award her an additional $4 million because of all this. So in 2019, he had a contract with the Chicago Cubs for $12 million. He only played for 2 months, so his salary was prorated, and he earned about 4.5. Now she's trying to get 4 of that. So he could have earned. So at the end of the day, the brief contends on Zobrist's side, on Ben's side, that he didn't intentionally and voluntarily stop working, because that's what she's claiming, that he stopped working just to fuck her out of money. That's her claim. Essentially, he went from the top of his game to basically giving up, which caused a massive loss in income. So his bitch wife is pissed about this. So she wants $4 million more for the amount of money he failed to preserve by abruptly and intentionally failing to satisfy his baseball contract. So basically what went down here, and now there's also, by the way, a countersuit. Ben Zobrist is suing the pastor for $6 million, which you go like, is the pastor worth $6 million? Have you seen some of these fucks? They've got jets. They've got palatial fucking, what's up with the fucking, how do old people not see the hypocrisy here? They're like, send us $44.99 for this jar of Jesus honey, and it will, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get what's going on when it comes to these fucking people and how they dupe. They're so charming and manipulative that they can dupe these simpletons into giving them money. And then also this woman, I mean, he was in there fucking, I guarantee she's just, probably some daffy lady who's like, I have an Etsy or whatever, and he's in there like puppeteering and everything and being like, your husband's a perfectionist, and poor Ben Zobrist is out there on the fucking road at the fucking playing the Reds or some shit, and this guy's like working his strings trying to get in there. So Zobrist is suing the fucking pastor for $6 million in a separate case. So it says here, rather than accepting blame for having torn her husband's heart out of his chest by having an affair with their pastor, she expected him to be able to totally focus in an elite athletic job that required 100% of his physical and mental energy. It is Mrs. Zobrist, by having the extramarital affair and confessing same to her husband and not disclosing the true extent of her affair, that caused him such extreme mental distress and difficulty that it resulted in his inability to finish his long and very successful career in the way that he had hoped and planned for. Ben Zobrist, of course, a little background. He worked his way up from the minor leagues to play for the Rays, the Athletics, the Royals, the Cubs. He won back-to-back World Series with the Royals in 2015 and the Cubs in 2016, where he was named the 2016 World Series MVP. Sorry, I said 2015 before. I'm sure someone in YouTube already wrote that 600 times. It's 2016, you fuck! Juliana carved out a career as a self-help author and motivational speaker and singer. 3 things that dipshits think they can do all the time. I'm a singer. That means she goes to like church and sings, I'm a motivational speaker. No, you're not. You just yap a lot at your fucking clubs, at the fucking country club, and everyone's like, oh, she's rich, so she's got something going on. And a self-help author, which I couldn't find one of her fucking books. See if you can Google that, Sean, while I go through the story. Let's see what Juliana Zobrist's, unless she's a nom de plume or something. Let's see what she's written. She sang the national anthem at some Cubs games. So that's what chalks her up as a singer. You know who else sings that? Children who win a prize. Anyhow, this is how, so she sang the national anthem. She's got these fucking books. Ben actually used a couple of her songs as walk-up music at Wrigley Field, including her cover of Elton John's Benny and the Jets. That's gotta suck. Oh my God. I mean, we'll get fucking DCMA'd over here if we try to play it, but holy shit. If I heard that as if that's your walk-up music, poor Ben Zobrist, man. He was so in love. He's probably just this nice guy. He's like, it's my wife singing Benny and the Jets. I'm going to walk out to it when I go up to the mound. Usually, fucking walkout music should be like, wild thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to get the crowd pumped. The one ironic one that you hear is, I can't remember who on the Nationals. He does Baby Shark, and it's funny. And the whole crowd's like, Baby Shark, doo-doo. That's funny. This guy, someone's like, what's this fucking Benny and the Jets cover? Some lady warbling Benny and the Jets? Yikes. So she had a single called Alive. It hit number 48 on Billboard's Christian Digital Songs chart. I don't think that's hard to do. I bet I think I could make a Christian song and hit like top 100 on the charts. You know what I mean? I think people would find out really quickly I wasn't a Christian, and maybe that would do a disservice, but I think there's probably only 48 songs on the Christian chart. They're like, we would do a top 100, but there's not that many. But no, I know it's a very monumentally popular genre. I'm just fucking around. The Zobrist famously kept a 6-day rule with which they made sure no more than 6 days passed without spending time together as a family. That sometimes meant like them shadowing Ben's travel schedule with baseball, which is grueling. They bought a house in Chicago so the family would have home base during Cubs season. However, Juliana maintains that as the marriage progressed, she began to experience Ben's perfectionist tendencies, which would often feel overbearing and controlling. I bet he was like, no, babe, I have a double header today. I can't come to your Christian song fucking thing, your Christian concert. Is that her?
Yeah, this is her song if you want to hear like a quick couple seconds of it.
I don't want to get fucking... I'm not getting demonetized over fucking Juliana Zobrist. I'm sorry. Go listen to it. Pause this. Go listen to it. I'll listen to it later. Can you Google image her? I've never even seen what she looked like. She's looked like what I thought, a blonde Christian lady. Poor Ben Zobrist, dude. If you're a lady out there, I know he's a Christian man, and he probably won't accept it, but just like we did with the relief pitcher who hit a grand slam for the San Diego Padres, I think it's time that I petition any and every lady out there, if you can, go suck Ben Zobrist's dick, please. Do him a favor. He deserves it. I mean, he needs some cheering up and some serotonin back in his brain. This has totally fucked him up, and it's melted down his baseball career, which was going swimmingly, and starting to really hit a fucking zenith. Both parties agree things began to change big time in 2018. Zobrist says that in his brief, that Juliana told him she had new thoughts and opinions that differed from some of their religious background and family beliefs. So she's getting a little... It sounds very Rasputin-y what this fucking pastor's been doing, but she began questioning many religious beliefs. That's what people start doing when they're like, oh, adultery, I'm not allowed to do that. Well, I'm starting to question some of my beliefs when it comes to Christianity. Juliana reached out to her pastor, Byron Yon, that's the gentleman who's the scumbag, and found solace in his support. Oh, I'm sure he was so supportive. Come over, Juliana. You ever see Sopranos, how like the fucking priest is all fucking, or pastor is the same way with Carmela? Same thing. They just kind of work their way into their lives unassumingly, and then all of a sudden they're fucking going down on you. The parties had a friendship with Mr. Yon and his family. So this guy has a fucking family too. Of course he does. The wife's friendship and connection with Mr. Yon grew over a period of time and changed into a romantic relationship. Ben Zobrist lays out a more detailed sequence of the events per his filing. At an unspecified time in 2018, Ben began to notice that Juliana was distracted and often not engaged with him or the family because she was too busy, thinking about that pastor dick. Ben says Juliana asked him for space and yawn when Ben asked for his advice. So Ben Zobrist, poor fucking Ben Zobrist, goes to the fucking pastor himself and is like, my wife's been spending a lot of time away from the family. What can I do? He said, you should give her space. Of course he fucking did. What a fucking piece of shit. So, in the filing, Zobrist says he looked at his wife's cell phone records and realized that she was spending huge amounts of time virtually every day beginning in August of 2018 talking and texting with Pastor Byron Yon. Zobrist cites that Juliana testified in her deposition that the relationship with Yon crossed the line in September 2018 in either October or November. She confessed her love for Pastor Yon, presumably to Yon, though she doesn't expressly say that in the brief. Then in December in 2018, in a pivotal moment that Zobrist calls the genesis of their split, Juliana threw a big retirement party for Yon. So she's throwing this guy a party now. He was stepping away from his role as the elder of the Community Bible Church in Nashville, probably because he was a fucking scumbag. And he was like, I gotta get out of here before they catch me. Maybe I can get a big, nice retirement package, golden parachute style, go fuck Ben Zobrist's wife. He wanted to take on a more business-related position, according to the filing. The one-night party for this fucking pastor cost $30,000 of Ben Zobrist's money, and it was conducted on the Zobrist farm, according to the filing. Mrs. Zobrist paid for the party out of the farm account, which was the one that Ben typically did not review, apparently, to keep the cost of the party unknown to him. Mrs. Zobrist and Pastor Yon both became intoxicated and were dancing on each other in a provocative way that was very embarrassing to Ben Zobrist, especially in front of their close church friends. So you imagine they're like having like a church party, a retirement for this pastor, and then all of a sudden it's like, boop, 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 boop. It's like, yeah. You know, they're playing Usher and shit, and they're fucking like grinding, fucking slow grinds on each other. God, they're so fucking gross. I mean, what the fuck are they doing? Just to be such a piece of shit that Ben Zobrist's like, I paid for this party, and then he's just watching his wife. Like, it's just like, you ever see the movie Problem Child with John Ritter? I haven't seen it in years since I was a child. It's an old movie. In there, there's a scene, like John Ritter is such like a cuck in it. His wife like meets Michael Richards, who plays like some guy. I forget what the context of Michael Richards was, but his wife is just basically like, she meets Michael Richards, they go into the kitchen, and they just start fucking, and he can hear them. And he's just out there like, my life is hell. He's just listening to his wife fuck in the other room. Yeah, and he has to take care of that douchebag little kid the whole time. So John Ritter's just like a sad sack. That's what I'm getting the vibes for poor Ben Zobrist. Like that kind of shit, like, makes my brain squirrely. I don't know how to like describe the feeling that it gives me, a sick feeling when that kind of shit happens. And that's what I'm getting when I hear about this Ben Zobrist thing. So like, just be super nice to Ben Zobrist, everybody, you know? I don't even think he's on social media or anything like that, but I would fucking spam him with compliments and love. So in spring 2019, Ben Zobrist was preparing for a long, grueling season with the Chicago Cubs at a time when his wife was changing and acting very differently. He reluctantly left for spring training camp. His wife finally admitted while he was going to training camp. They love to do that, right? Right at the fucking time when it matters most. He's like, oh, by the way, you're going to training camp where it's like, you know, going to be, you got to like really like, you know, play hard, and it's, you know, one of the hardest parts of the season. I'm fucking the pastor, she tells him right then as he's like heading out the door. Ben Zobrist was alerted to the affair May of 2019 by Robin Yon, who is the wife of the scumbag pastor. She and he were both devastated and he simply could not play baseball while his marriage and family were in limbo. He took a leave of absence. So the Cubs placed him on a restricted list on May 8th so as not to take up a roster spot. It says here he would rather than take up a roster spot that could be taken by another player. He took a leave of absence from the team. The decision cost him about $8 million. The Cubs recalled up Addison Russell from AAA Iowa. Juliana Zobrist filed for divorce then come May 13th of 2019 in Cook County and then later withdrew. That's when Ben filed for a legal separation the day that she withdrew, and the couple decided to put the divorce on hold and entered an agreed order to attend counseling. That's another thing, because now she's like, oh shit, my husband doesn't play baseball anymore. let's see if we can work this out so he can get back to playing baseball, so I can get some of that fucking cake back. So Ben Zobrist contends that Juliana kept in contact with Jan despite her promises to the contrary. And she purchased a burner phone in which to stay in contact with him. So she definitely was trying to get the marriage repaired so that Ben would get back on the fucking road. He's like, hey, he's got fucking a whole series in San Francisco. I can fuck up and down while he's gone. And I'll act like, yeah, no, we're working on it. She threw the phone away in an airport in New York City when it was discovered. Also, when she received a new phone after changing service providers, it allowed her to get rid of her phone that contained the nude photos and text messages that she had sent to Jan. You know what doesn't get rid of them, darling? The cloud. They were found. So by Pastor Jan's own admission during his deposition, he too spoilated evidence because they were trying to get text messages and things received from him in his service, or in his phone, excuse me. And under dubious claims that his cellular phone fell out of his pocket into a puddle when he was crossing 21st Street to go to a restaurant, and aw shucks, wouldn't you have it? It was run over by a car. Weird. Right when they need it for evidence, you know, it fell in, and he had to lay it really on thick. It landed in a puddle. And I was like, oh no, and then a car ran over it. So it was wet and run over by a car. So you're not getting anything off that. It's hilarious that this guy can create such elaborate, detailed lies, being a man of the Lord. Incredulously, the wife sent text messages to Pastor Jan while watching his testimony in his deposition via Zoom. So he was on there testifying during this legal battle, and she was like texting him while he was on Zoom going, you're killing it. I knew you would do great, as he was being questioned about his inappropriate relationship with the wife. So he was in there, you know, perjuring himself in a Zoom court, and she was like, great job, baby. We're totally going to get away with this, and I'm going to get $4 million from my husband. Ben Zobrist's baseball career was on pause during most of May and all of June, July and August of 2019, while the couple went through counseling, and Juliana was continuing her sexual affair, of course. Meanwhile, she coaxed Ben to finally return to the Cubs in late summer and fall of 2019, during which he earned, guess how much? Another $4 million. The Cubs activated Ben Zobrist from the restricted list on September 1st, and he played the final 21 games of the season. So, boy, oh boy. Oh, man, I don't know why I was saying he was a pitcher for so long. He's a fucking second baseman. Josh, I'm so dumb. Dude, I say like one little thing and then I go and it's wrong. And I know, okay, like everyone's probably not even listening to this. They're tearing me apart. But my point was, I'll say one thing wrong in my brain and convince myself of it. And I don't have anyone go, oh no, Josh, second baseman, you know? And that's not your fault, Deshaun. I'm not expecting you to know that. But I'm saying like, I'll do that and then I'll just go on a tear and I'll use my mistake as logic. Because I was like, oh, pitchers are wild, you know, he's in his own head, blah, 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 you know, and I'm trying to, like, use that to relate to it. But he's a second baseman. I'm sorry. I'm still, you know, I'm a fucking R sometimes, okay? And you know that about me, so give me some forgiveness. And, by the way, if you wrote in the comments already that he is a second baseman and I've come to this conclusion, go back and fucking delete it because fuck you, I corrected myself. But, yeah, I just came to my brain as I'm sitting here talking about it. I'm like, wait a minute, he's a fucking second baseman, you dumb fucking idiot. You're such a fucking idiot. Now I'm going to go in an Uber after this, and I'm going to be like fucking Philip Seymour Hoffman in Boogie Nights when he's like, you're a fucking idiot. You're so fucking dumb. I'm just going to yell at myself in my brain for the next 2 hours. So are you happy? There. Anyhow. His baseball career was never the same. Finally, on June 3rd, 2020, in an answer to Ben Zobrist's formal request for admissions, Juliana was forced to admit her affair, and not just emotional, but finally that's when she admitted to all the sex that they had. Ben Zobrist requests that the judge weigh whether Juliana is at fault for his leave of absence and his cost to the couple's bottom line. Isn't that so weird that at the end of the day, like, we're talking about who, like, if she deserves his money or not? That's such a weird thing about divorce court. Like, they're battling not over like moral implications, but, whether or not she's entitled to that $4 million from when he went back to baseball. Like, what a fucking bitch. I can, I don't mind saying that about this woman. I don't like saying that about women in general. I don't like calling women that. But this fucking lady makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, she's a piece of work.
Like, unbelievable. Yeah, that's a better word for it. I won't say bit. Real piece of work, this lady. A real scoundrel. But nevertheless, I was going to get into our fly debate because I have had so much feedback. Why don't we save that because I want to get in depth on it. Again, your feedback has been so insightful. Many emails coming to joshpottershow@gmail.com, and Ashawn has sifted through a couple of YouTube comments as well. We'll get into that in a couple. We'll get into that next week. I want to do that with a guest as well. I don't want to. We'll bring it all up. We'll go in depth because there is some eye-opening feedback coming our way about the fly debate. But I did want to end things by bringing up congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks winning a NBA Finals championship. I really don't give a shit about the NBA, but I'm trying, because I know there are people out there who do. Just like I know there are people in other countries who are listening to this program and they don't follow American sports. Guess what? I try to follow English Premier League soccer. I'll try to follow all of you. You're interested in it. If there's a wild story that comes out about one of your favorite teams or leagues, hell, if you got a cricket story out there, send it my way. joshpottershow@gmail.com. But the Milwaukee Bucks, led by Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm a Greek kid, so I can, I'm pulling a fucking Stephen A. Smith fucking up his name. I'm Greek, and I can't even fucking say it properly, but I think I did a pretty good job, actually. But, of course, he led the team with a magnificent performance in the final game, and then he decided to celebrate by going on Instagram Live and going to Chick-fil-A.
Nobody tries to look cute out there. I'm just here to hoop. Man, I look cute when I get married or something. I don't want to look cute now. Please, I'm just here to hoop. I woke up like this. Actually, I haven't slept, so how did I wake up?
He's so fucking funny, dude.
I've been up like this.
I've been up like this.
Oh, man. Hey, what up, Bloody? Bloody, what up, man?
Well, what's it? This is the Larry O'Brien, right?
Is this the Larry? Which one is?
God, it is. I don't know which one.
This is the Larry O'Brien. This is the Bill Russell.
He doesn't know which trophy's which.
Oh my goodness.
I woke up. I haven't woke up. I haven't slept, so I've been up like this. Oh man.
So then he went on to order, and I wanted to play that video because I thought that was wild. I mean, he's just so adorable. I mean, I
woke up like this.
He's from Greece, of course, and he came here to play. I remember when he first came here, he had a tweet where he was like, "Just had a smoothie. I love America." Like, it was so endearing. And so he's like the American dream, He came over here and he, has risen to the top of his sport, and he had both, he mentioned the Bill Russell trophy, and I don't know what the fuck they call the other, but he had the MVP and the championship trophy in the car with him in line at Chick-fil-A. And when he pulled up, he shocked the poor woman who was taking his order, and even asked her, he's like, "Can you be on my IG Live?" And he was like, "I want not 49, not 51, 50 nuggets." And then he ordered a drink that I think is fucking genius. He got a drink that is half Sprite, half lemonade.
Oh, what? You don't know about that?
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Is this me being a white guy and not knowing something? What's that?
Lemon up.
Lemon up?
Yeah, dog.
See, I thought Giannis invented this. And I'm thinking he's going to take fucking Arnold Palmer out to the woodshed and put a bullet in his head, because I thought this was going to be I'm like, that's a great idea, because it's, Sprite's a lemon lime drink and it's got the carbonation, and you add it to the lemonade. But here we are, if I knew more about the culture, I would have known about this forever.
Fuck yeah.
Damn. Well, thank you, Ashawn. Hey, good looking out. Because over here, I'm like, they better can this, call it the Giannis. You know what I mean? Can you buy this drink?
I know you can do it like they know at In-N-Out for sure. Like, you can just say, "Can I get a lemon up?" And they'll be like, "Yup."
Oh, wow. See, I don't even frequent In-N-Out. But there's no one is fucking with it in terms of canning it or bottling it at this point.
Nah, not. Oh, actually, I mean, this is really just small, but like Sprite actually did. They finally were like, we'll make a lemonade.
I do think somebody sent that to me actually, and I wasn't sure. Is that Sprite with lemonade? Hey, we learn something new all the time here at the Josh Potter Show. At least I do. I'm always up to learn. I learned that fucking Ben Zobrist, second baseman, I said he was a fucking pitcher. I'm going to flog myself for saying that for an entire week. It'll be until the next show that I will beat myself up over that. But here we are.
Learn about gender reveal parties, and they're not actually. I don't know if you saw it, but the creator or whatever, she's like, stop having these fucking parties, guys.
Oh, the person who created the very first gender reveal?
Yeah.
Well, because they used to be simple. It used to be like a piñata. People started getting so elaborate with them, and they're involving like F-16s now and fucking like. What in the hell? It used to just be like, I remember when it was like, let's cut a cake, My friend Brian Herberger used to have a joke where he went to a gender reveal, and it was the cake thing, where they cut the cake and then you pull it out and you find out if it's a blue or a pink cake. He goes, this one was chocolate. Very funny joke. Go see Brian Herberger out there, folks, on the road. But anywho, I love all of you. Thank you for joining us once again. And do send in your articles. We had many Roach reporters send in things. I believe even the Ben Zobrist thing was brought to my attention, because I had no idea. As a person who just got like heavily into baseball for 2 seasons, I've talked about that nonstop, how I was like, I need a new hobby, and I wanted to get into baseball. So like anything prior to 2018, I'm like, I'm learning about. So that's why Ben Zobrist, he hasn't been really around very much since then. So I fucked up. I thought he was a pitcher because I'm a piece of shit. But thank you to the Roach reporter who sent that in. I don't have his name here, unfortunately. I fucked up on not putting it on there. But plenty of Roach reporters. Thank you so much for sending in all of your things. Thank you for sending in your music. Thank you for sending in everything. And we're getting the soundboard built up. We're learning our system, getting it ironclad. I'm getting papers again, thank God, because I can't with these fucking screens. They make my eyes melt. And other than that, friends, I hope I see you out there on the road. Again, July 29th, Brea Improv. Please go on to my Twitter and my Instagram, buy tickets, or you can just go to the club's website. August 2nd, St. Louis, Missouri at Helium Comedy Club, going to be there. And I have a show that I'm going to be announcing very soon for Thanksgiving weekend, which I'm very excited about, and I'm hoping to fill some things in between then and now as well. So we should have some more shows to announce. If you're like, are you coming to my city? I want to, desperately. If you are asking, are you coming to my city? I know Tom gets annoyed by that too. He's like, I'm coming everywhere. My thing is, I want to come everywhere, and I'm working on it. You know what I mean? So all the shows I have are the ones I'm telling you about. If I'm coming there, you'll be the first to know. I fucking promise you. But I love you so much for wanting me to come to your city, and I'm going to work on it as hard as I fucking possibly can, because I love performing, and it's my favorite thing. So I hope you come out and see it live and get a whiff of it for yourself. So joshpottershow@gmail.com, and also keep subscribing, hit the bell on the YouTubes, hit it on all the audio things that you listen on, hit the fucking subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a review on all those things, because all of that helps us rise up in the charts, and I love all the people that have done it so far. You're my fucking little roaches, and we're going to infest the nation soon enough. So I will see you next Tuesday here on the Josh Potter Show.
I want to thought. 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 I want to thought.